So there's a saying. I'm sure your pappy used to tell you the saying, Kotaku is going to Kotaku. So we have this, and I'm not even gonna bother. Within the first two paragraphs, they mention the G word, Gamergate. So once they mention that, it's like I have no desire to read any further. There, and there's a reason why this exists. So Star Wars Outlaws Backlash proves we need more women protagonists. So we have someone right here who just listed a whole bunch of female protagonists throughout the years. Um, what's your deal, Kotaku? Seriously, what's your deal? Have you not been around the last 20, 30 years? So we have Samus Aran, the first one, completely badass. Men love her not just because she's an attractive female, but because she's badass. She's a well-written character. You know, you find out her backstory and how she was raised as a warrior, about her parents dying and this and that, and how she's very cold and distant, and she doesn't really form, you know, emotional attachments to really anything. Except I think for that little Metroid that was following her around, the baby, because it was so cute. How could you resist? But then you have Lara Croft, Claire Redfield, Jill Valentine, Bayonetta, Aloy, Ellie, Tifa, Aerith. You have down here Riku Payne and Yuna. But we don't have any. I'm, and the fact that they mention Gamergate, it's like for gamers and for journalists, it's like what media companies do. It's that deflection, that shield. If people criticize a character, it's not because it's a badly written character. No. Oh, Gamergate, bunch of misogynists. No, it's a poorly written character. They bring up Rey, completely ignoring the fact that she's like a nobody who just somehow was able to master the Force when we see all the training Anakin has to do and all the training Luke had to do, and then some fucking nobody comes along and she's like, "Oh, I can master the Force. I've mastered it, and look, I know how to use a lightsaber despite never having picked one up before." So if you had a well-written female Jedi, it wouldn't have been a problem. But this girl who is an absolute nobody is just able to master the Force, able to use a lightsaber. People remember the training with Luke with having to lift things up and this and that with his training with Yoda, and this girl, this no one who just comes along and masters it. No real training at all. That's what people were pissed off about. It's not because it was a female, but oh, misogynist. We're just gonna keep deflecting. People pointing out our bad writing. Oh, you're a misogynist, you're a racist, you're a homophobe, you're a bigot, you're this, you're that. No, you people just fucking suck at writing. It's simple as that. It has nothing to do because Samus Aran, people love the Metroid series. Men are predominantly the ones playing these games. Lara Croft, Tomb Raider, same thing. Gaming for the most part is still predominantly men. And we're not talking about, your mom sitting there fucking playing Candy Crush or whatever. No, we're talking about actual gaming. Yes, there's a lot of females who game, obviously, but it's still been shown that predominantly it's men who are the gamers. And they're not picking up these games because, some of them are not even the best looking females. If it's like, oh, it's eye candy. Ellie is on there. Ellie is what, underage? So they're not picking it up because she's hot, because she's a well-written character. But sure, Kotaku, sure, there's not enough female protagonists. And this is why Kotaku's journalistic integrity is 404. Because you people are a fucking joke. You wonder why no one takes you seriously, how you're completely disregarded, especially after bringing up Gamergate in the first two paragraphs. So, Vera, I love female protagonists. I am all for more in gaming. Exactly. But don't lie and say that there's not enough. Some of the most successful video game franchises are led by women. Again, Metroid, Bayonetta, Tomb Raider. Some of the most successful franchises, and they're female led. Um, have women as key characters in stories. Look at Kingdom Hearts. You have Kairi, you have Aqua, you have Larxene, who's not a hero or a protagonist, but she's a strong female. Are they just woefully out of touch or woefully disingenuous? Yeah, may not have been a great game, but Riku, Pain, and Yuna are completely badass. We see Yuna go from like more of a priestess type role to this, and it's just Kotaku as always. Let's see. Anyone here that they didn't mention? Eileen the Crow, Zelda. Yeah, Zelda. Uh, more games nowadays, she seems to have more of a role to play rather than just the damsel in distress. Tears of the Kingdom, making like the ultimate sacrifice. Not only does she get stuck in the past, she meets her descendants who go on to die. One of them is like assassinated right in front of her. Rauru uses his life force to bind Ganondorf. So, and then you have Minoru, who her spirit into the Purapad to kind of have her into the future where she can help Link. And then she takes her stone, swallows it, and becomes an eternal dragon, losing completely who she was. And she was just flying as a dragon for tens of thousands of years. Imagine not being you. So, and then after the game, when she's kind of revived or rejuvenated, she kind of takes up the position almost as queen. She's not Princess Zelda anymore, really. She's now Queen Zelda, or at least that's not the title, but that's kind of how she was acting, was this queen. After going back and seeing her ancestors and seeing what they gave up, she's kind of taking on this queen-like role rather than being Princess Zelda. This isn't some weird version of Dora the Explorer. Kotaku facepalm. The first thing I thought was, is this the latest stand-in for Kathleen Kennedy? Uh-huh. Jaina Proudmoore, Sylvanas Windrunner, Tyrande Whisperwind, all the ladies in World of Warcraft. Strong, powerful, respected. I mean, Jaina Proudmoore, the most powerful mage on Azeroth. I mean, come on. Come on. And she's been around since what? Warcraft 3? Sylvanas Windrunner, same thing. Ranger General turned Banshee Queen, leader of the Forsaken, goes on to be War Chief. But we need more. Now, she's more of a chaotic neutral, chaotic good, because she does have her own purpose and reason for doing what she does. But, I mean, if we're talking about just females in gaming, it's just... Sure, it's not because of Star Wars fatigue. Anja. What backlash? Yeah, Tifa Lockhart is one of the protagonists. Yeah, she's not a bad person. Gamers hate women. That is why a large chunk of them play as Femsheep in Mass Effect. Exactly. Femshep. Or in Portal. Chell is the only person really in that game. You're playing as a female. I mean, in Portal 2, you got Doug Ratman scurrying about places with his little dens, but you don't see him. But you know he's there. But you play as Chell. Not to mention, even though GLaDOS is a villain, still a female. A very vocal, powerful female. But we don't have enough in gaming. How does Kotaku exist? How do they pay their bills? Joanna Dark, Miss Pac-Man, one of the first. I think wasn't Miss Pac-Man originally created to get girls into gaming because we had Pac-Man. It's like, well, we gotta redesign a little bit and make Miss Pac-Man to kind of get. I mean, I just that article is cancer. How do we get free publicity for this game? Just claim there's a backlash because of misogynist racists. Yeah, I just. What about Elizabeth and Eleanor from BioShock series? Yeah, yeah. I mean, I just. Dana Proudmore. Yeah, Sylvanas Windrunner, Tyrande Whisperin, Ural. Ural is the Draenei from alternate Draenor who kind of helps us in World Wars at Draenor. But then she goes on to go on this light crusade, and she's like forcing beings into the light, and they're becoming light forged. And so she was a good person, but she turned to, it shows that even light has its dark side to it. But yeah, Morgan, Dragon Age. It's just, let's see. Rebecca Chambers, the boss. All the females of Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat. Jennifer Simpson, Clock Tower. Yeah, that game's really, really cool. Luca and Isla from Chrono Trigger. Yeah, some like Chrono Trigger, Chrono Cross. Some of the best characters are female. Like Kid, she's the main character. She's right there pretty much from the beginning. Uh, and she's just a really good character. But this is what you get for Kotaku. This is what you get from Kotaku. This is just every mainline Pokemon game where you can choose a female trainer. All female original characters were custom characterizations as is offered, like Fallout, Mass Effect, Cyberpunk 2077. Also, Shantae, half genie. Amazing games. They're really fun games. She's the protagonist. Pretty much every villain you fight in the game is female, so it's like a game comprised entirely of women. Except for where you have like a town or something you can go to, there's male and everything and like NPCs in town, but most of the part you're fighting girls. Girl on girl action. The Badass Marion of France. Medal of Honor Underground. I'm all for a well-written female lead. Cassandra is one of my favorites. My gripe with the game is that the Star Wars universe is vast with all these races, and we are pigeonholed into playing as a human again. Yeah, I mean, isn't that the whole point of Star Wars? Having all these amazing races scattered throughout the universe and the galaxy and this and that. Like, why are we always playing as humans? That's like an MMORPG where you want to play as a human. It's like you have orcs and Draenei and trolls and this and that. You choose human? Come on. As a female myself, I play video games because it's fun. As long as it has a good story and the gameplay is fun, I play no matter what. Yeah, and that's what most people do. They don't care. Metroid Horizon are two series I love, and each have women leading their narrative. Yeah. It's not about women. It's about how nowadays these companies are doing the bare minimum of just making women, but then forgetting everything else. What makes players want to be invested in these female characters? We need a reason to play as them, to care about them. Because if you're going to be playing as them the entire fucking game, you need a reason to care. Because it's like every death is going to be more impactful when you care about them. But if it's like, oh, whatever. Same thing with movies or TV shows or whatever. They make all this diversity and all this other bullcrap, but they don't give us a reason to care about these characters. They give them no real personality apart from their skin color, their gender, and their fucking pronouns. That is their personality. It's like, so as a normal player or a normal viewer or everything, why would we care about these characters? Why would we care about some poorly written character who's forced in there for diversity's sake or for representation's sake? You can have a black character, female lead in like a Star Wars game. Just have them well written. Like, it's I can't understand why we're still having this conversation. How hard is it to just make a character who's well written? We don't care if it's a boy. We don't care if it's a girl. We don't care if they're trans, bi, fucking aliens. We don't care. We just want well written characters. How fucking hard is this? How fucking hard? Like, for the love of fucking Lucifer, how fucking hard is it to just make a well-written character that people get attached to and actually want to see succeed? They do the villains well enough. You know, it's like, oh yeah, we want these villains dead. But the main character, it's like, eh. If they die, they die. It's whatever. And some of them, it gets to the point where you want the villain to win because you know more about the villain than you do about the main character. But why are we still having this conversation? It's X for the sake of X at this point. It never feels like the character is black or a woman just because anymore. It feels like meeting a quota that the lack of equality, and the lack of quality always shows. Always. They aren't going with the best option. Just a scapegoat for fear of cancellation. Yeah, I just said that. And again, if Kotaku not been around, you know, the people there not been around for the last 20, 30 years, as so Kotaku, come here. Fuck off. Just keep fucking off until you get to a sign and a fence that says no fucking off past this point. Believe in yourselves, dream big, climb over that fence and keep fucking off. Just we have that for a reason, because you guys are a freaking joke. No one takes you seriously anymore, and the fact that you guys are still somehow in business is mind-blowing for people. So just go. It's time to stop. But we don't have a problem with black characters. We don't have a problem with female characters. We want well-written characters. That's all we want. Again, people are playing The Last of Us. Ellie is underage, didn't she? But people were into the character because she was a really good character. The dude's not sitting there like, oh man, I'm playing the game because she's so fucking hot. No, she's a really well-written character. Seeing how the progress with her and Joel throughout the game, how, you know, kind of, you know, like a distant, not wanting really to be around Joel and this and that, to looking at him as a father figure. Just the journey that they made through the game. But no, it's because we hate women. Go fuck yourselves, Kotaku. Seriously. Fuck off. Anyway, that's going to do it for me. You guys know the drill. I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys.